Welcome to 4x4, a quick building tournament with 4 rounds of 4 contestants each. Contestants have 30 minutes to build something relating to the round's theme, which is left intentionally vague. They'll have to think fast to plan and execute a cohesive build in just half an hour. Our 3 judges will decide if they move on to the next stage or get eliminated. We have 8 contestants, who will reach the final round and win the $500 MRT prize. First to build, Connor005, owner of Astroslurp.
So, I took the prompt future. I took that vague idea and turned it into something I could actually build. Whenever I think of the future, I like to think of like space and what we can do as a species in the future beyond our original planet. So, I thought, ooh, a cool little moon colony might be fun to build. I also built like a little moon environment with a moon rover here, a couple of craters, and a bunch of random rocks and stuff around. I was actually inspired a bit by an old Minecraft mod called Galacticraft. It was like an old mod that you'd go to space and build rockets. It had this machine you could use to build a little biodome where it would have oxygen in it and you could put trees and plant life in it. I thought it was really cool, so I thought, why not recreate that? Or at least take inspiration from it and build like a little thing out of it. Originally, I was thinking of building a spaceship from the Halo franchise because I'm a really big Halo fan and I figured that's something I know, but I figured it might be hard to fully translate that over. Everything that came to mind related to Halo probably wouldn't really fit the theme well because it'd be more alien than future, but space was like the very first thing I thought of when I thought of future. I think my favorite part is probably the centerpiece right here, the biodome. I wasn't really sure how well it would translate with building a glass dome. I didn't use like a circle generator or anything for this. I kind of just winged it for the dome, and I think it turned out pretty well. I like the details I was able to add around. If I make it to the end of the contest, I don't think I'm ever going to replace the floor again because this took up a whole lot of time, but I'm really glad I did because I think it sells the whole atmosphere and vibe of the build.
Second, Katie11231, CEO of Feline Holdings.
The prompt was future, so I built what I want to happen in the future, and I think otherwise my build is quite self-explanatory. It is what I want to happen in the future. My favorite part of what I built is the part that has my girlfriend in it.
Next to build, 0x10, owner of IKEA.
So I built the tower surrounded by magma on fire. I interpreted the theme as being any future because building this stereotypical futuristic city type deal would take too much time, and this is kind of funny. I don't really have any favorite bits of this. Maybe the fire.
Finally, Bro1 Bro2, the mayor of Broville.
So I built a space station named after Broville. We have the Broville moon colony here. It's more of a colony settlement on the moon. So when I first got the theme, I wasn't entirely sure what I should do, but having my time ticking away, I decided that, like a space theme could be interesting. And I was like, oh, okay, a moon colony might work well. So I was thinking like moon colony is probably something that might be in the near future for humanity. So I'd say my favorite part is just the vibe the build gives as a whole. I think even though I'm not entirely a huge fan of how I built this, I think it definitely gives the great vibe of Moon Colony, and the armor stands make it really feel alive.
Now, our 3 judges will give out the scores for each build. We have Aristrad, winner of Screenshot Contest 10 and 14, 6Pro, builder of Stone, and McYoshi26, mayor of Premier City Itokani. Judges give 2 ratings out of 10, one for build quality and one for theme interpretation. So like the lime one, I can appreciate building the sphere just freehand. It's pretty tough. But I also like adding like these little rocks and these little craters. I think those are really nice details to have. And the rover is really cute too.
Yeah, the terrain's good. I mean, obviously it's a lot of, I guess, like time spent on it, like placing all the buttons and building the floor and stuff, but it's cool. There's like some surroundings to the build. There's a bit of an environment there.
Yeah, I like the actual like craters and stuff, and I like the moon rover. And I think this thing in the future, you know, obviously the other person also had this same attempt at it too, and I think this is also a solid attempt. I like the details of, you know, the moon rover, the rocks on the ground, and also like and the airlock. Even though I think the airlock technically doesn't fully work, but I appreciate the detail. The one thing I will say that I also like about this build is, like you said, the sphere was also built without like by hand, but it's also like a pretty big one. Like, I know if I personally had to build this, it would take me like forever, and I'd probably fuck it up, honestly. So I think this is actually a pretty good attempt at the sphere because it is pretty nice. I like the positive view of the future, especially in comparison to, I think, the especially the other ones. I feel like this is the most positive view of the future, which honestly I was hoping to see a somewhat positive one, so I'm glad to see that represented here. I think I would like to see some more detail in the actual like ceremony area. Like, I think if you would have maybe either some more plants or like, you know, just some differentiating between kind of the seating area and the actual like altar area. But I think it's very cute and sweet.
Also, it's interesting that in the future there is no one at their wedding. They have no guests.
Oh no!
Which is sad. So maybe it's optimistic, but it's a little bit pessimistic as well. Bit of both.
I'm going to presume they might have spent a lot of time placing the sand, which I can understand why that can be time consuming for sure. I think if maybe some more time was directed, I think, on the actual ceremony part, even if there was less sand, I think would have looked better. But I think the sentiment's really nice, and I think I at least appreciate they did try to do a little water feature at the end, so it isn't just fully sand the whole time.
Yeah, it's just a beach, not a desert. That's nice.
Yes.
I appreciate how it's a vision of like a personal future instead of a more general one. I think that's an interesting interpretation of the theme. But I agree, it just seems a little barren with all the sand. I don't mind the apocalyptic idea, but I just wish there were more buildings, I guess.
I highly appreciate being honest and admitting that building a stereotypical futuristic city would be too consuming. I totally get. Just honestly being so real about that, I appreciate that. But also, I think this is a valid interpretation. I mean, maybe not a happy look at the future, but it definitely is a look at the future. I agree with you that maybe more buildings would have been good, or at least an expansion of the island. And I actually appreciate really the creative take on it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty bang on theme, to be fair. Depends on your opinion of what the future's gonna look like.
I think we know your view of the future now.
Oh yeah, right now it's I guess contrasting with some of the other builders, this person's clearly the pessimist, not particularly. They don't have a good view of the future. Yeah, positive.
Dilapidated builds always feel like harder to build because you have to build something that looks nice and then make it worse. I appreciate the effort to not just like make a nice building in the middle of this. So they at least put some detail into making it look dilapidated. And one thing I have to say I like in this build is that it actually feels like it's like lived in a way. Obviously the arm stands help, but I like the details of, you know, the little plants in pots, the separate domes. I really like that it was all separate one, not rather than just one big one. And also the details of the, you know, little like panels outside. Even if the plot wasn't fully filled in, I feel like giving the effort to the actual structure, I think was a good call.
I agree with that. It feels like this person really thought about what would actually be in a moon colony. One thing I would like to see is maybe some more details on the ground, like a little bit of variation.
Yeah, it could do with some more texturing on the floor. But I mean, the build itself is very detailed. Even like the attention to detail, like above the beds, instead of it being like white glass, making it tinted glass. That sort of thing. Just that little the little details like that is cool.
I also like the detail of Ares holding a spyglass, but also holding it incorrectly. But
Now, let's see the scores. The top 2 scoring contestants in this round will be joining Zooj and Vicky in the final, while this will be the end of the line for the bottom 2, who will secure the last 2 spots in the final. Our first contestant to join Zooj and Vicky in the final with a score of 49. Bro 1 Bro 2. And in second place, earning the last spot in the final with a score of 42, Connor005. That means that 0x10 and Katie11231, each earning a score of 35, have both been eliminated from the tournament. 0x10 earned 2 votes in the tiebreak, with Katie only earning 6 pros vote. Next time on 4x4, 4 contestants compete in the final round for the $500 MRT grand prize. With the trickiest theme yet, will they be able to prove that they're the best?